Hello everyone, welcome back to a very special episode of Comic Vantage. This is actually a video I've been trying to make for, I don't know. Hey Comic Lover Omega, how's it going? This is actually a video I've been trying to make for, like 2 days now. I got this bad boy in the mail from FedEx yesterday. Some CGC love. So I was planning on doing this yesterday, but they didn't drop it off till clear after like almost 9 o'clock last night. By then it was way too late to do an unboxing. And I was like, you know what, I'll just hop in today and do it this morning. And then the cable company decided that they were going to do work in my neighborhood, and my internet has been intermittent all day long until now, so here I am. Can everybody hear me all right? I want to make sure I'm not having any technical difficulties. This should actually be a lot of fun. I don't want to ruin it for anyone. Hey, Chris Elf, how's it going, bud? We doing all right here? Everybody listening? We got your ears on out there? Okay, so let's get this box open. What do you say? Oh, man, this thing's a monster. And these are actually all signature series. Hey, everything's good here, Elf. Everything in this box is going to be signature series from a 2-week signing period that I had. The first couple were from Jerry Conway and Chris Claremont, and then the second weekend was Andy Kubert and Matt Rosenberg. Sorry, I actually forgot there for a second. I've had so many signings recently. So let's pop this open and let's see what's in here. It should be fun. If I'm not mistaken, there are 11 books in here from CGC. First time I'm doing a live unboxing. This is actually kind of fun. Okay. Wow, CGC really knows how to pack their stuff. Look at that gold label goodness. I'm actually going to put this down here on the floor and start pulling out books randomly to show you guys. I know of 2 books that are in there already, and that's only because I had them previously signed, CGC'd, and then I had them cracked and re-CGC'd. So let's grab the first book at random. Oh, and of course it is one of the first books that I had done. My Forged from Metal ash can. Now, if somebody out there might have seen this before in my last unboxing video, it was signed by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, but I had it cracked open, and now it's signed by Andy Kubert. So that's 3. Hey, D-Derp, how's it going, bud? And 9.8. I actually have 2 of these in that box. Let me dig out the second one. There we go. Two of them. Now, triple signed by Greg Capullo, Scott Snyder, Andy Kubert. I will be having these cracked open 2 more times. Once is going to be for Tinian to sign them, and then they'll be re-slabbed, and then I'll have them cracked again in December, where Jim Lee and Scott Williams will sign them. So I'll have 6 autographs on these guys by the time I'm done. Beautiful books. All right, next book. Ask Random. You are Uncanny X-Men 266, signed by Chris Claremont and Andy Kubert. This one will also be cracked open in December to get signed by Jim Lee. And what did I get on this? I'm afraid to look. Oh, and actually I have not seen these grades. This has been driving me insane waiting to open this box. I've been wanting to click on the grades in my CGC account, and I have not done it. I wanted it to be a surprise. Those other 2 are the only ones I knew about. So, what did I get? What did I get? What did I get? What did I get? 9.0. That's actually not bad. That's about what I expected on this book. After Jim Lee signs it in December, I'm going to have it pressed. So hopefully I can get a grade or 2 bump after it's pressed. It's still in really nice shape, so. Jim Lee did not work on this book, but he created Gambit with Chris Claremont, and he actually really enjoys signing this book. It's his character. I don't know why at the time he was doing something else. He just skipped this issue. So, anyway, nice. Well, you have to slab in between. CGC will only hold the books for so long. Like these two, this got signed in January, this got signed in February, and they were okay holding my book for a week, but they won't hold it for the full year. So I had to get it graded so that way it officially gets this grade with the yellow label, or else in December they would give me a green label because these wouldn't be verified. So that's why you got to do it that way. Costs extra money, but in the end it's worth it because it boosts the value of the book. All right, so that's number 3. Oh, and Model Vault, I am not worried. I've actually had books pressed after they've been signed, lots of books, all different kinds of pressings, Sharpie, I've had ballpoint pens, I've had ink pens, paint markers, pressing has never affected any of that. So, okay. Let's see, what else do I got? Next up, another book at random. Hey, Giancarlo, how's it going, bud? That's funny. You should have all your students watch my live feed here. They might learn something about comic books. Hey, Doomsday, how's it going, bud? All right, so this one is Phoenix Resurrection Mark Brooks cover, the Virgin cover. I got Matt Rosenberg to sign this, and I'll be getting this one cracked open again in the middle of the year. And I will have Mark Brooks sign it. I'll be getting a chance to meet him for a second time now, so that's awesome. And what I get on this one got 9.0. Wow, that's actually a little disappointing. I thought this was in good shape. I'll have to read the grader notes and find out what... Oh, I see why I got a 9.0. I got a scuff back here. Well, that's a bummer. Still, it's a great book. It'll be nice to have with both signatures on it. I will also be getting, like I said, Mark Brooks to sign this, so I'm excited. Next. Oh, this is one of my biggies. Batman 655, signed by Andy Kubert. This is the Adam Kubert variant cover. Oh, this is one of my big books here. This is actually a nice pricey book. What did I get? I got 9.6. Oh, I cannot complain about that. Oh, that's pretty. Wow. I hope to meet Adam Kubert one day, get him to sign this as well. Hey, Daryl, how's it going, bud? Yeah, actually, I only did 4 books, so you're not that late, Daryl. Anyway, and there's 11 total, so I got a ways to go. Man, I just want to pull this out of here. It's a beautiful cover that Adam did. Yeah, I'm just glad I'm actually getting to do this video. It's been 2 days of hell trying to get this thing up and running. Next book. Oh God, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Okay, all right, people. I'm actually kind of getting goosebumps right now. I peeked at the grade. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. This is a Miss Marvel #1. All right, time for Uncle Lewis story time. This is one of those stories where everybody's heard it, and it's never happened to them. Well, it's just happened to me. Oh, that's awesome, Giancarlo. Beautiful. All right, so check this out. Miss Marvel #1. In the beginning, at the end of January, yes, a couple months back, I had a Jerry Conway signing. And I had a bunch of Jerry Conway Renew Your Vows books to get signed. It's really the only thing I've ever read from him, and I love them, so I really wanted to get it done. And all my friends were like, oh, I'm getting a Miss Marvel #1, I'm getting a Miss Marvel #1. And I was like, you know what, let me take a look and see what this book's all about. With the movie coming out, everybody's like, it's going up in value, it's getting hot, you got to check it out. So I started looking around, and I found decent grade copies for, I don't know, $100, $120, sometimes 80, and I was like, I really don't want to spend that kind of money on this sort of book, considering I have no idea what it is. So I have a video up on how to buy comic books on eBay. So I follow my own rules, and I found this book out of Canada for 40 bucks. Buy it now. No one was touching it because it was out of Canada, and nobody wanted to buy it. So I was like, you know what? For 40 bucks, I will grab it. I bought it. I got it in. Looked in good shape, and I was like, you know what? Whatever, for 40 bucks, whatever grade I get on this, I'll be happy with. And I got it signed. 30 bucks CGC for the signature series. And I took a $70 investment and turned it into a 9.8 book. This book now has a value of around $1,500. Sweet mother of mercy. Are you kidding me? That is incredible. Holy God, I'm going to be hated by a lot of people that I know. 9.8. I had no idea. I really had no clue. I didn't even look twice at it. Somebody saw this in my mailbag. I'm sure you guys saw me open this up. And I looked at it. I was like, wow, look at it. Nice. Corners look great. Woo. Threw it in the pile and never looked at it a second time. Yeah. Wow. Holy God. Anyway, keep an eye for that on eBay. Oh, I don't know if anything's going to top that, people. Okay. Whew. All right. Next up, Uncanny X-Men 101. Woo! This is the iconic Phoenix story. Got it signed by Chris Claremont. This book I did have pressed before I sent it off. And I was kind of excited. Let's see, what do I get? What the survey says. Oh, 8.5. Actually, that's a little disappointing. I was expecting at least a 9 on that. I'll have to read the grader notes and find out why I didn't get a 9. I mean, 8.5 is nothing to sneeze at, but, after having it pressed, and I was so excited. Oh well. That I can't complain about. Oh, that's awesome, Norris. Daryl, you gotta love stuff like that. Oh. Okay, next book. What do we got? Uncanny X-Men 221. This I also had signed by Chris Claremont. First appearance of Mr. Sinister. That's why I bought this book. And I bought it for Chris Claremont, and I will be getting Mark Silvestri to sign this in December. I'll have it cracked open and get it all nice and signed and CGC'd up again. All right, so what did I get on this? This one is 9.2. Yeah, that I actually cannot complain about. That's about what I was expecting, so yeah, nice. Now, a lot of these books, after I get them signed for the last time, I will get them pressed again. Or I'll get them pressed before I have them reslabbed, and they'll get regraded, and hopefully I get a couple grade or two bump. Now, the reason you do that, if you plan on getting books slabbed multiple times with different signatures, it's always good to have it pressed after the last signature, because it's going to get handled in between. It's going to get cracked open. They have to pop this out. They have to slice it out. And then, with the handling, it might get a little damage again. It's always good to get it pressed the last time. Alrighty, what else we got in here? Oh, we have my invoice. Shall take that out. And Dark Knight 3, The Master Race number 9. This is the Quitely variant cover from... Does anybody do this in particular? No, just the Quitely variant cover. And I got it signed by Andy Kubert. And I will also get this signed by Azzarello and Jansen. I'm on the fence if I want Frank Miller to sign this. So, what did I get? 9.8. Look at that. Okay, that's really cool. I had 2 copies of this. I picked the one I thought was going to be the best and sent that in. So that's cool. I cannot complain about that. These are some great grades. Wow, that's a really thick slab. I guess the book is thicker than normal, so they had to go industrial on that thing. What do we got here? My turnaround on these books was they were submitted at the beginning of February, maybe the second week in February, and I got them back last night. So from February So let me see my date on here. February 3rd. And they probably didn't get to CGC for at least another week. So you're looking at February 7th all the way to March 17th. So about 2.5 months. They estimate right about 2.5 months for right now for their turnaround time. So, oh no, not 2.5 months. January, February. What month are we in, people? Are we in March? Yes, sorry, month and a half is what I got. You know, for Chris L, for unsigned books, it's really hit or miss. I know people that just say CGC everything and they get every book possible they can slabbed. I look for things that are actually have some kind of significant value to them, or I think will go up in value. I will be putting together an order shortly for CGC to send off of just normal books, not signature series. Maybe I'll do a video on that and show you guys some of the books and my thought process on what I'm doing. I probably have 7 or 8 books upstairs right now. I'm waiting. I'm just going to get a stack of like 10 books together and send them off all at one time to get slabbed and graded. And Daryl, that 221, it really is an affordable key. I think it's one that everybody should have in their collection. You never know what is going to happen with it. Essex and Mr. Sinister have been hinted in the X-Men movies for a long time now. He's bound to pop up, and when that happens, the book value is probably going to skyrocket. So I would say, if you can find it cheap, grab as many copies as you can. Oh yes, and that wait. Man, that wait. I'm sitting there and I'm checking every day, and first you get the email that they received the books, and then you get the second email that they've charged you, and then that's it. That's the only emails you get, and the rest is up to you to hop into your account and check. And you have to wait and wait and wait. And then you go into verified, and that means they've checked all the books and they know they're there. And then you go into the graded. And when you think once you get to graded, you're like, woohoo, I can check my grades and go, no, you can't. When it says graded, they're done. But they're going through encapsulation, but they will not post your grades until after the books have shipped. And that is because in case any of them get damaged or anything during encapsulation, you can't go, well, I had a 9.8, now I have a 9.2. No, you don't get your grades till after it is shipped, but then by that time you only got 4 days till you get your books back anyway, so you might as well just wait to look at them. I have not heard of any coming back damaged. And I know a lot of people that get CGC books. As most of you know, I go to Torpedo Comics, and they get hundreds upon hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books CGC'd every single month. It's insane the number of books, and I've never heard of them say they ever got a single one damaged. But that's why CGC does insure the books. You put down the insured value of what you want the book to be covered for, and it's covered. I don't know what the turnaround is for the UK. Do you guys even have, do you go through CGC? I know Australia has their own slabbing company that they go through. It's actually local to Australia. I forget what it's called, but it's supposed to be really good. So, well, maybe somebody will do something like that in the UK for you guys. And my pressing, Funk Off, I just saw if it's during the last signature on the book, I will have CGC do it. Turnaround time for CGC to do it though is 4 to 5 months. It adds to the book. If you get your books pressed beforehand, if you're only gonna get one signature, there's a gentleman, his name is Tony Stark. I kid you not, his name is Tony Stark. He's with a company called Comics in a Flash. It's actually comicsinaflash.com. And he presses books, $15 plus $8 shipping for however many books you want to send to him or whatever. And super turnaround time, like 1 month, start to finish turnaround time. The last book I sent him was the 101, and I actually fast-tracked it because I needed it back. And I kid you not, I had it back in 10 days, start to finish. So that was awesome. Okay, now, I still have 2 books left. What am I doing? Hold on. All right, next up. Oh, here's a biggie for me. Wolverine #1 limited series. Look at that book. Chris Claremont has signed it. This is definitely getting cracked open and getting Frank Miller to sign this. I cannot wait to meet that guy and get him to sign this book. All right, let's see. Survey says 9.2. Okay, that is not a bad grade at all. This thing it's beautiful. I would have thought maybe a 9.4, but I will not complain about a 9.2, especially after 2 different signatures on here. Frank Miller is really gonna shoot the value of this book through the roof for me. I cannot wait to meet that guy. All right. Model Vault. No, none of these books are from my childhood. One was kind of going to be from my childhood, and actually this should be the last book in this stack. And that was this guy. This is my X-Men #1 second series. I actually have a copy of this book from when I was like a 16-year-old kid, and I took it with me to get Chris Claremont to sign it. And when I got there to Torpedo Comics, they had a stack of old new stock of this book sitting there. And they had them for like $5 a piece. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go through this stack and take a look and see what they got. And I went through and I picked out the best one that I thought was the best to my eyes. A lot better than the copy that I had. I got Chris Claremont to sign it. We shot it off to CGC. Who wants to see if I'm right? Let's see how good my eyes are. Even though I'm getting old here. Let's find out. And, oh, look at that. 9.8, people. I think my eyes aren't too bad. It looked like a 9.8 to me. Now, this will get cracked out again in December, and it'll be signed by Scott Williams and Jim Lee, so I'll have triple autographs on this thing. Thanks, Funk Off. Yeah, I'm usually pretty good at eyeballing grades on books. It's something that I've wanted to study and learn. You know, I've been around comic books for a long time, wow, going on 30 years now. So I think I have a kind of a good eye of what I'm going to get on most books. I'm usually pretty spot on. And I've been studying the Overstreet manual and stuff, trying to learn how to do it technically and properly. So hopefully one of these days maybe I can get my little CGC or my little Overstreet advisor tag. So, wow, that's my haul. All signature series. I do have 6 books that were just sent to CGC like 2 days ago. And those are all my Jay Lee and Frank Cho books from this past weekend. I have 6 of those. So in a month and a half, look forward to that as well. I'll probably do that live. And over the course of the next year, I have, I have at least 30 or 40 just signature series books that I have planned to get. So I will be doing a lot of these. CGC is just kind of addictive once you get started. All right, so let's go through a quick recap. We got our X-Men 1 second series, 9.8. Our Wolverine 1, 9.2. And this bad boy we get signed by Frank Miller. Wow, that's awesome. I got 17 people watching. You guys are amazing. I love all of you, seriously. We got our DK3 Master Race number 9, Quietly cover, signed by Andy Kubert. Soon to be signed by Jansen and Azzarello as well. And we got our X-Men, or Uncanny 221, First Mr. Sinister, signed by Claremont. Soon to be signed by Mark Silvestri. That's actually the first time I'm meeting Mark Silvestri, so that's pretty exciting for me. I've never been at a con that he's been at, or a signing or anything, so I'm really excited. And then we got the Uncanny 101, First Phoenix, signed by Chris Claremont, 8.5. I mean, this is still like a $400 book. That's nothing to sneeze at, right? Considering I didn't even pay I think I paid like a fourth of that, really, for the whole thing combined. Oh, we'll save that to last. Batman 655 and 9.6. And this is the Adam Kubert variant cover. Beautiful, beautiful book. Phoenix Resurrection number 1, 9.0, already signed by Matt Rosenberg and soon to be signed by Mark Brooks. Mark Brooks is such an amazing artist. And if you guys haven't read anything from Matt Rosenberg, please do. He's an absolutely amazing writer. I think he's going to be one of the greats of this generation, the way he's going right now in his storytelling. Uncanny 266, First Gambit, signed by Claremont. Chris Elf, I do have a Stan Lee signed book. I have a Uncanny X-Men number 24. And Stan Lee was a blast. I met him about 20 years ago and got him to sign that book for me, along with a billion other things. Back when I first started going to Comic-Con, specifically San Diego, Stan Lee was there every single year, and he always signed everything for free. So I got so many Stan Lee signed things, action figures, comic books, my sketchbook. I got him to sign Stan Lee in it. I can't bring myself to get him to pay for an autograph of his nowadays because I got so many free. Hey, Surf Blue, how's it going? All right, so back to the recap here. We got our 9.0 Uncanny 101. And we got our 2, now triple signed, Forged from Metal ash cans, signed by Greg Capullo, Scott Snyder, and Andy Kubert. Soon to be signed by Tinian, Jim Lee, and Scott Williams. I think the only autograph's going to be missing from the original that were of these that came out is John Romita. It's the only one I can't find this year. So, and and last but absolutely the best thing in this stack is this Miss Marvel number 1 9.8. Oh, sweet Jesus. I mean, look at that thing. 9.8. And I didn't even have this pressed. I just got it graded. I was like, here, just send it off. Whatever I get, because I paid so little for it. Man, this is insane. If I'm not mistaken, the last one that sold on eBay sold for $15.99. $1,599. God. I got this... like I said, it was just so cheap. I was not expecting this. This is absolutely amazing. I was figuring, hey, if I make a few bucks, good. If not, whatever. Wow. Okay, so yeah, Chris Elf, he's getting up there in the years. I got a chance to meet him last year again. I didn't get anything signed, but he was at the Amazing Las Vegas Comic-Con here in Las Vegas. He did a panel with him and Todd McFarlane, which was a blast. It was so much fun watching the two interact together because they are very good friends. So it's really cool. I hope you get to meet him because he's a really good guy. Yes, Surf Blue. All of these actually were submitted through Torpedo Comics. At every single autograph signing, they have a CGC representative on hand, and they submit through CGC. And they send stacks upon stacks of CGC books, and they just roll all of ours in, right in with their orders. You could do it 2 ways. You can either have them submit for you, and they'll actually put down Torpedo Comics as a return address, and they will have them shipped back to the store, and you just go pick them up at the store. Or with what I do is I have my own account, so they get shipped to my house. I like it a little bit better that way just because I can track my books. I can get my grades beforehand. If I want them, I know exactly what's going on the whole time. So, yeah, there's my 11 book CGC haul for today. I do have, like I said, another one coming in probably, what are we at? End of March now? Probably beginning of May. I would think my Jay Lee and Frank Cho books will be in, so that'll be a lot of fun. I got that awesome Jay Lee sketch, and what's funny is that Jay Lee sketch I haven't touched it. I didn't even know what I was getting until after I got it. When I met Jay Lee, I had a stack of like 7 different sketch covers, and I took them up to him, put them on the table. I said, pick the one out you're going to have the most fun with. And I had a feeling he was going to pick Ninja Turtles because it's one of the only books he's never worked on. And he flipped through the books and he goes, I want this one. And he picked out Ninja Turtles. So I left the book there with him, paid him to get the sketch done. And later on that evening, the manager down there at Torpedo sends me a picture of my book. And I was just like, oh, sweet Jesus. I was blown away. It was awesome. Surf Blue, they do not grade video games, comic books only. They really don't even do a lot of toys. They have a few action figures here and there. Mainly they do tons of statues, a lot of CGC books. They do no collectible card games or anything like that. They want to be known as a comic book store, and that's really what they do. If anybody is going to WonderCon this week, they will have a booth at WonderCon with hundreds of CGC books ready to go. They probably have the largest selection of CGC books in the US. I would bet that they do. They have an insane amount of CGC books. Hey, what's up, Boom Boom? How's it going? A little bit late to the party. I just finished it, so you have to watch this on the rewind, but... Hey, Tat, I know. Look at that thing. Look at that. Does that make you cry or what? God, I mean, wow. Okay, that's all I can say about that. Hey, thanks, man. I don't know if you caught it earlier, but I bought this on a whim, and I paid dirt for it out of Canada. And wow, yeah. Whew. Okay. Hey, no problem, Daryl. While I'm here, does anybody have any questions? Got any Q&A or anything? I love this live thing. This is so awesome. Now I know why you do it all the time, Pat. This is amazing. What's the price on what? Tat, I started collecting. Well, I mean, my first comic book I ever read, I was like 9 or 10 years old. My cousin gave me a Sergeant Rock from DC Comics that Joe Kubert had done, and I was just totally blown away, and I loved it. And I just sporadically picked up comic books here and there. My parents were never a huge fan. Then once I got to be a teenager and started working and have my own money, that's when I really started collecting. So I collected hardcore through the 90s, but everybody knows the 90s burned a lot of people out. I was one of those people included. So I collected clear up until maybe the late 90s, and then I stopped, and I just restarted again about 3 or 4 years ago. Oh, and Surf Blue. If I had to guess, I would say this book is. I didn't, like I said, I didn't even want this book, so it's going to go up on eBay, and it's probably going to sell for between 14 and 1600, I would guess. Yeah, everybody keeps coming back to this Miss Marvel. It's right here on the top. I'm just gonna just leave it there so everybody can just stare at it. Anyway. There we go. Everybody can get the full glory in there. I loved collecting in the 90s, though. It really, I know I said it before in one of my other videos, it was an awesome kind of spiritual awakening for comic books. Everybody was buying them. They were all over the place. I was a teenager through the 90s, so I really got to be there on the forefront, especially with the X-Men. X-Men was freaking everywhere. You can go to Pizza Hut and get X-Men comic books and VHS tapes. They had their own line of clothing called Mutant Gear. I could have like a jean shirt with an X-Men logo on it, and it was awesome. The 90s were great to be a collector. They just did way too much, and it burned a lot of people out. That it is, Alex, and I got Jerry Conway on here. Look at that. I'm going to pop that up on eBay and see what it does. Tat, I do get some autographs before books are slabbed. I try not to a lot of times unless it's for me, because then you get that dreaded green label, or you got to send it to CBCS and get it verified. A lot of times, though, I will get a lot of books signed, and I'll just, I run my own business, so I do my own COAs, and I'll just pop a COA in the bag and resell them or keep them or whatever. And I keep meticulous records of every single signing I've been to. I actually keep photographs of all the books along with the COA that I issue with it. And anybody can verify them at any time. They can just contact me. I have a serial number on every single COA with the corresponding book it matches with and all that kind of good stuff. Hey, no problem, Tat. Anytime, bud. Seriously, I could talk comic books all day. This is ridiculous. Alex, I will let you know what this thing goes for. I mean, hell, maybe I'll do a live countdown on eBay or something. Do a live feed and just do the countdown on the auction. Model Vault, it depends on the signatures you have on there. If you've got a Stan Lee signature, it is worth it. And a lot of my signatures, too, that I get are free. I don't know if anybody's asked this before or I talked about this before. I go through a store called Torpedo Comics for a lot of my signatures. And throughout the rest of the year, they have an autograph signing every single month for the whole year. 2018, they call it their Con Killer schedule because they have like 30 plus creators coming in, artists, writers, biggest names you could possibly imagine. And they sell VIP passes. And for myself, I'm a silver VIP, so I get at least one signature from every single guest that comes in. Someone like Frank Miller, I'll get one signature. But someone like Jerry Conway or Chris Claremont, I'll get 3. For someone like Jim Lee, I'll get 5. And I pay one price. It's $200 for the whole year. I mean, you get you get a Frank Miller autograph, and that pays for half your badge right there. So if I get these signed, especially for a $100 signature, it's worth it to get it verified. Oh, rag, yes you do. There's several 9.8s in here. Look at these bad boys. Forged for Metal ash cans. Signed by Greg Capullo, Scott Snyder, Andy Kubert, both 9.8s. Yeah, actually, to give you guys some insight on the artists and writers I have coming through at Torpedo this year, we finished already Jay Lee, Frank Cho, Chris Claremont, Jerry Conway, Andy Kubert, and Matt Rosenberg. For the rest of the year, I have, I'm probably going to forget some because there are so many. I have Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, Scott Williams, Mark Brooks, Adi Granov, Adam Hughes, James Tinian, Azzarello, Klaus Janson, Frank Miller. Oh God, yeah, I don't even remember. I have so many coming up, it's ridiculous. With being a VIP, I get to cut the line too. They sell gold and silvers. Golds get to go first. Usually there's anywhere from 3 to a half dozen golds, and then the silvers start. I'm always first in line for silver, so my average wait is about a half an hour before I get my book signed. Ash cans are usually retailer incentives or they are giveaways, Chris Elf. These in particular, I think they gave them away at C2E2 this last year and maybe the Diamond Retailer Summit. Oh, McFarlane is in the works. I actually got McFarlane autographs at AmazingCon last year. Dude is awesome to meet. I actually have a little video up on here of me meeting him and his little antics that he did with my little GoPro camera that I was carrying around. Oh, and get this, when you're at Torpedo, if you do the gold pass, this is going to really freak a lot of people out. The gold pass costs $500 for the year, but usually you get twice the number of signatures the silvers do. And John Dolmayan, the drummer of System of a Down, takes you to lunch every single signing with all the guests that come. So, you know, all these guys got to go to lunch with Chris Claremont, Jerry Conway, Andy Kubert. They get to go to lunch with Frank Miller and Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder when they come. It's, oh man, I've been tempted to do that $500 because wow, that would be so awesome. Can you imagine sitting down lunch with Frank Miller and picking his brain and have John Dolmayan sitting next to you? Hey, Odd Cuber, how's it going, bud? You know, I don't care if somebody has an intense conversation with a creator. It's their time too. They paid to do whatever they wanted to. I am totally at fault for hanging out with an artist sometimes maybe a little too long. I try not to. I try to limit my time with a person to about 5 minutes when I'm getting books signed, unless I'm really engaging with them or if there's not a huge line. Then I don't care. Then I just hang out for as long as I want. I met Scott Lobdell 2 years ago. The dude had nobody in line, and I sat with him for like an hour, and he laid out his entire plans for Red Hood and the Outlaws for me. It was absolutely amazing time. I know, Tad. Isn't that? It's just insane. It's crazy. And you know, with you know the drummer for System of a Down being the owner of the place, the rest of the band members actually come in every so often as well. I've seen all 4 of them float through the store at least once or twice. Actually, one of my greatest ones was Andy Kubert this last time around. Andy Kubert, you know, when I started really getting into X-Men, I missed the whole Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri. The whole Image Exodus had already happened. So when I started reading X-Men, it was Andy Kubert, it was Adam Kubert, and these guys were just, you know, taking off and doing their thing, and it was awesome. Hey, no problem, Chris Elf. And when I met him at this signing the last time around, I started talking to him about his dad, and full undivided attention the entire time. He was eye contact. If you start talking about his dad, man, he just goes off. And I told him that the Kubert family is responsible for my love of comic books, from my Sergeant Rock all the way to my collecting in the 90s. He thought it was so cool. Actually, I just didn't get colored pens this time. It really depends on the book, and it also depends. I know I have some bronze ones coming. I had McFarlane use some lime green paint pens because they look great on Spawn covers if anybody ever wants to do that. You'll see some multicolors coming up soon, Rag. All right, Chris Elf, take it easy. Thanks for stopping by. See if I missed any questions here. I'm going to go through the feed quick. All right, so yeah, awesome books. Looks like I got any other? I don't know if somebody. Here's my other 9.8 that I got in this stack. My Quietly cover for the DK3 number 9. Someone was asking about 9.9 or 9.8s. I think those are the only 9.8s I have. Oh, no, I lie. I got my X-Men 1 second series 9.8. How many books do I own? I can honestly tell you I've lost count. I have books and comics and hitting in different corners and areas of my house. You see, I have a wife that doesn't understand the comic book collection thing, but she doesn't deter me from buying comics as long as she doesn't see them. So I have to get creative with where I put my comic books. And I have to honestly tell you, I've lost track. I don't know. I have lots of short boxes everywhere, shoved in every nook and cranny of the house. All right, actually, let's check out that Wolverine, see if we got any color breaks. You know, I did notice one, I don't know if you can see it, there's one tiny color break right there on the spine. But other than that, there might be another little one down here, and that's pretty much it. 9.2, I'm very happy with. It's actually what I was around what I was expecting. I could not complain about that. Although I have been getting past her lately with all these new graphic short boxes. Man, they're gorgeous. My LCS today got in the Detective Comics 880 jock cover of the Joker on the short box, and I showed it to her last night, and she's like, "Oh my God, you got to have that. That thing's beautiful." So I ran right out today and picked one up, and that's one I'm actually allowed to keep out in the open. For submitting my books to CGC, actually, I don't have to be present. I can drop off my books in my LCS, and they'll get them signed for me, fill out the paperwork, and send them in. But I am there because I want to meet the artist. But my LCS does all of it. They actually do all of the paperwork for me, and then they submit them. I have my own account, so I get everything sent back to my house, but you can have it sent back to the store as well. I do have that CLZ collector that I was thinking about starting to use, Boom Boom. But wow, it seems like such a daunting task right now with how many, and my inventory is always changing because I buy lots and I sort and then I resell. My inventory changes daily with my books. I get so many in, I get so many out. I mean, really, I think half of these books here I don't plan on keeping. They're probably going to end up on eBay after they're all signed. So. My favorite book in my collection, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, is the X-Men second series, issue number 11, the Jim Lee cover. I honestly can't tell you why it's my favorite book. I just love this cover. I always had. I actually have it hanging in my office in a frame, that actual comic. And I have a t-shirt with it on. I've actually had a t-shirt with this cover image almost my entire life, longer than I've not had it. I bought it first when I was like 18 or 19 years old, and I've had it up until now. I've even replaced it. They started reissuing it. I'm very lucky that I just picked up a Pressman issue of that cover of that book that I'm going to get Jim Lee to sign. So I'm really excited about that. Haha, rag. Yeah, that's the awful weight right there. Now, graded just means it's going through encapsulation, so you still have a couple more weeks before you're even looking at getting it back. Yeah, I know, Daryl. That's me. I'm full of random. I go through my LCS, although at a lot of conventions that I go through, CGC is on hand. So you just go and grab them at their table. They come with you. I think they charge you like $5 to stand with you in line to witness the signature. So that's kind of cool. I do sell raw books on eBay. I don't know if you might not have been here. You might have missed it when I said I actually issue COAs for all my signed books that I have. And I don't know if I have any viewers here that live in California. California has very strict rules about collectibles, especially autographed collectibles. Now, I live in Nevada, so I don't have to do this, but they have a very specific set of strict rules when it comes to autographed collectibles, where you have to keep meticulous records, you have to do serial numbers, you have to take photographs, and I actually follow all of that when I sell my books. I actually have an entire database of comic books that I have gotten autographed, that I've issued COAs for, along with photographs of every single book to match with that COA. So, and I also just sell normal raw books too that I pick up here and there on eBay as well. Actually, my eBay channel name is decal_vantage because my first job on eBay is actually a vinyl lettering seller. I'm a big vinyl lettering decal storefront seller on eBay. It's actually my main job. It's what I do. I work on eBay. And then the comic books, I have a whole separate section just for comic books on eBay as well. Yeah, actually, that's one of the things my wife really loves because I wake up in the morning. I'm an early riser, so I get up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and I start work, and I'm done by 9:30. And that's usually when she rolls out of bed. So according to her, I don't even work. Actually, no, you cannot do that with CGC. You'll have to go through a facilitator. There are a lot of good facilitators out there. One in particular that's really big is Desert Wind / Celestial Comics. They are located here in Las Vegas, Nevada, but they travel to almost every con in the country. They can get your books signed by pretty much anyone. They do, I think they call it their Legends Tour every summer, which will have like John Romita Jr. and just they get so many artists. Right now they're doing a Kevin Eastman submission where you can submit Kevin Eastman books for them to sign. I think they charge $35 a book, plus on top of whatever CGC charges. Yeah, facilitators are definitely a good thing. They actually come into, I think Planet Awesome, all of them come into Torpedo for all of these signings as well, so you can send your books into them. For Stan Lee signatures, wow, I really have no idea anymore. I know he's having issues with CGC, or at least I thought he was. I honestly, I can't answer you there, Rag. I have no idea. Oh, sure, here we go. There we go. Yeah, they are a big facilitator. They're actually all over the CGC forums and message boards. Whenever they have a signing coming up, they'll let you know. And on their website, they always have a big list. And with them, you can send them books. They charge you a specific fee. They actually did a Todd McFarlane signing, I think it was 2 months ago. And for that, it was $90 plus whatever CGC charged, so it was like $140 total to get a McFarlane book signed. But if anybody out there doesn't know, McFarlane usually only does 2 CGC signings a year. That's it. The rest of the time, he will not allow CGC, CBCS, any of them to authenticate his signature. But when you don't get CGC for McFarlane, he does it for free, which is really cool of him. He wants to make sure everybody can get an autograph without having to pay for it. And this stream loves you. Yeah, I'm having a blast here. This is awesome. This is actually something I've considered doing, just sitting down like once a week and just doing a live stream and just hanging out with everybody and just doing a comic book talk. I can talk comic books forever. Hey, Boom Boom, I need your email address and I'll shoot it over to you. I have it posted on Facebook and Instagram if you can't get it through any of those. But I had messaged you to try to I sent you my email address for you to email me. Oh, Daryl. For years and years and years, I was a Marvel guy. Marvel is all I did. They were amazing. And then I discovered Image, and Image really did it for me. DC, I've never been a fan of. They were always a little too old-fashioned when I started collecting. You know, Marvel was like, you know, WWE Attitude Era. and, and DC just felt old. So I never gave DC Comics a second shot. Until recently, when they did this whole Rebirth relaunch, I walked into an LCS one day, and this kid was like, "Here, you got to check out this book," and he hands me this $3.99 DC Rebirth book with a little sneak preview of everything in it, and I read it, and I was in love, and I was like, "Wow, these are really some good books." Awesome, gotcha, Boom Boom. And yeah, since then I've actually started reading some DC books as well, so I'm kind of. I've one of the things I've always really been a big independent guy. I love independent comic books. But when you were collecting back in the 90s, anything that was coming out in black and white they were the best stories. That was where it was at. Black and white comics. You had Bone, you had Cerberus, you had Joe Linsner doing his Cry for Dawn series. I mean, wow, that just blew your mind when you read Cry for Dawn. It was just rebellious and awesome. Yeah, there were just so many good books. David Lapham was doing Stray Bullets, which was just dirty and gritty and in your face. And yeah, I'm probably more of an independent guy. I actually do not know him, Rag. Although I do know Gabe Infinity Watch, or you might know him from Gabe Loves Comics or the Omni Bros. I actually just saw him this morning. Daryl, indie comics, man, you gotta, wow, especially old school indie comics. If you ever do get a chance, grab some of the older Cry for Dawn books. The old black and white stuff where Dawn wasn't the main character, she was just like a hostess. It was an anthology series, and a lot of it was drawn by Joe Linsner and written by Joe Monks. Really, really, really good stories, especially if you, yeah, I mean, if you like darker, gritty stuff, it was really awesome to read. Oh, and Stray Bullets from David Lapham. I know Image is actually continuing on that series. Totally worth reading and getting. Valiant was awesome. Valiant was great for what it was. Really beautiful stories. And wow, beautiful, beautiful coloring back in the day. They were on the forefront of the coloring with the whole watercolors and doing the alcohol markers and really pushing the envelope. It's really what a lot of people are kicking the ass on that. Yeah, and if you just want to read the comic books, Daryl, I know like the first issue of Cry for Dawn went into 3 or 4 different printings, so you can get some of the later printings for a lot cheaper. Yeah, Model Vault. I'm really getting into more of the DC superhero stuff. Like I love the Green Lanterns, the one that has Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz. I really enjoy Red Hood and the Outlaws. Right now, I think I said this in one of my videos before. Right now, Marvel or DC is doing what made Marvel great back in the 60s, and that is they're making their characters human. They're giving them flaws. And everybody can relate to a character with flaws, and I think it's just absolutely amazing. And it's a lot of really good reads, especially Red Hood and the Outlaws. Anybody out there, if you're not reading it, pick it up. It's a great story. Hey, Gene Paul Ace Peter, how's it going? Yeah, Boom Boom, I thought you would like that. Definitely. Green Lanterns, it is a good read. Although this latest story arc is a little... I saw it today on the shelf and I was like, wow. But yeah, it's definitely worth picking up. And some of their Young Animals stuff is actually kind of cool right now as well. Oh, and actually, I don't know if anybody's excited about this, but I was a huge fan of Neil Gaiman for a very long time. Death and Sandman, they were all great books. I love his novels. And I heard he's getting back into writing comics again. Aftershock is doing a anthology series called Shock, and he's writing some of the stories in it. I'm huge excited for that. You like that, Murph? I got that up there because everybody wanted to take a peek at it. Woo, boy. This makes me happy. I was not expecting this at all. Yeah. Yeah, I kept showing it. I kept pulling it out, so I figured I'd just set it there so everybody could just, gawk at its beautifulness. You'll have to watch the rewind and check out the story on this thing because, man, I think it'll kind of blow your mind. Man, how long have I been streaming for? Oh, it's almost an hour. Holy crap. Oh god, you guys are awesome. Seriously, talking comic books for an hour? I cannot complain about this. Here, let's dig out some of the other 9.8s, set them up as well. What do you think? There we go. This will be my backdrop for my next couple of videos. I think she will make an appearance, at least in the second part. Right there, Model Vault. But I don't think she'll be in this last one, unless she gets an ending credit scene. I think they've already said she's not going to be in the Infinity War until maybe at least the second one. Now, what I want to see is more Howard the Duck. Oh, and actually this X-Men 1 over here, this is my second copy that is signed. I actually have another one already that is signed by Chris Claremont and Jim Lee. I just wanted one that was graded. So I have one for like a personal copy and then one for sort of a little backup thing. This is signed by Chris Claremont right now. And it will be signed again in December by Scott Williams and Jim Lee. I love meeting Jim Lee. Torpedo Comics, this will be the 4th time they've had him in the store now. I don't know how well known it is, but John Dolmayan, the owner of the store, and Jim Lee are like best friends. I mean, like, I believe Jim Lee is John's kid's godfather, or maybe it's the other way around. I know it's one of those ways. They are seriously good friends. So Jim Lee comes in the store all the time and does signings, and wow, he takes care of us with his signings. I know, isn't this a beautiful cover? I think next time I want to get all 4. I have the 4 connecting I want to get signed as well. Yujun, we actually, you can buy graded comics, or I get them graded myself, where I send them in. I believe I've only purchased 3 or 4 graded comics. Most of them I've gotten done. I will meet a creator, get him to sign it, and CGC will take the book and grade it for me. They charge $20 for modern books, and then $30 for signature series. Hey Jericho, how's it going, bud? Getting in a little late or what? Yeah, no problem. That's what I'm here for. I answer questions. I love this stuff, so if I can help somebody out, that's what I'm here for. Yeah, it was funny because I actually had someone comment earlier one of my videos that they wish they had the money that I did to buy comic books, and I'm like, it has nothing to do with money. I am a super frugal shopper when it comes to comic books. But then you come across a deal like this, and it just pays for the next year's worth of stuff that you're going to be getting done with CGC. Snow? What's snow? Jeez, I've never even heard of that stuff. Hey, chat, thanks for stopping by, bud. Next time you do a live stream, I'll be there too. I think I've caught the last 3 or 4 or maybe 5 that you've done. They're really cool. I enjoy them. And Jericho, yeah, snow. I think we get snow in Vegas once every 5 years or so, and you get like a dusting, and it lasts for 20 minutes, and everybody freaks out, and schools close, and nobody drives on the road, and then it's gone. It really is, Murph. I love meeting these guys. I have so many cool stories now about meeting these awesome creators. There are some, though, that are a little bit lackluster, and there are some where they totally are not what you expect. And then there are some that just completely blow you away when you meet them. It's really awesome. But all in all, they're just people. Hey, Andrew, how's it going, bud? Yeah, you'll have to catch us on the rewind, Andrew. All this good stuff that I showed, and lots of stories and anecdotes that I share with everyone. My next con is actually in the end of June, last weekend in June, and that is the amazing Las Vegas Comic Con. There, I will be meeting Jim Starlin, Ron Lim, Kevin Eastman, Amanda Connor, and Jimmy Palmiotti, Jamie Tyndall, Tyler Kirkham, and I think there's a few more stopping in. I'm super excited for Jim Starlin and Ron Lim. I got a whole bunch of stuff already stacked up for them to sign. I've never met Jim Starlin before. I got a Dreadstar 1, really nice high grade I wanted to sign. But my next signing I have coming up is actually, what month are we in? We're in April. It's like April 12th, maybe the 13th. And that is a Tim Sale and Dave Johnson signing at Torpedo Comics. It's funny because I have 2 short boxes set up upstairs, and one is just for my signings at Torpedo Comics for the rest of the year, and the other one is for the cons I'm going to for the rest of the year. I'm really excited to meet Tim Sale. I've been staring at that guy's artwork for years. It'll be nice to get some. I got a long Halloween, nice high grade of that for him to sign. Yeah, I'm excited for Dave Johnson too. That guy's been drawing for years. I actually have his very first work he ever did for Comico. It was I think it was Comico, but it's a Robotech issue. And he did the front cover. His very first work. I'm going to blast from the past for him. I did the same thing when I met Greg Capullo. I took him a Gore Shriek #1, his very first pro work from like 1983. He was like, oh God, I gave him like a history of, he said he loved seeing his older work. And I'm like, well, here's Travel Through Time for you. I hand him Gore Shriek #1 and Evil Learning #0, some Spawn books. And he was just like, wow, this is awesome. And Greg Capullo, I'll be meeting again in October, I think he's coming back to Torpedo. He fell in love with the store the last time he was there. And John actually took him out, and they went partying and stuff. And he's like, I'm coming back. And they rescheduled right away for October. And when Greg Capullo came this last time, he brought Scott Snyder with him. So that's when I got a bunch of these signed by Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder's coming again in 3 or 4 months, and this time he's coming with Jock. So that is super exciting right there. Detective Comics 880 getting signed all the way. No, Greg Capullo. He actually did the cover for Evil Learning #0. Unslabbed, in a high grade. I think you can pick up these issues for $4 or $5 a piece. There, Jericho. Yeah, this one here I paid $5 for. They had it at Torpedo Comics. They had a whole box full, and I just went and grabbed the one I thought looked nicest to me, and I was right. Yeah, Greg Capullo. That was, when I first started reading Evil Learning back in the day, and I came across that, I was like, are you kidding me? Greg Capullo? That was really cool. He did the cover for Evil Learning 0. It's a great book, too. And I had a platinum cover that I got him to sign. Yeah, it's funny the stuff that Greg Capullo has actually worked on, that Gore Shriek, if you ever get a chance to check that out. It was a horror series. I think it only ran like 4 or 5 issues, but it was really cool. Here, let's change up the backdrop. We got, well, Miss Marvel's got to stay. There we go. Change it up to that. Oh yeah, totally. Man, I mean, him and John walking around Torpedo Comics together, that was an awesome sight. You know, you got the drummer for System of a Down walking around. And it's funny because you have this big, rich rock star, and he actually shuttles these guys around. He picks them up at their hotels, he drives them around, he takes them out to lunch. I mean, he treats these artists and writers like royalty because the dude just loves comics. I mean, John is an awesome, awesome person. And he's really a hands-on owner. You know, you have a... Yeah, I know, isn't that beautiful, Murph? You know, John, a lot of these celebrity owners who own different stores and stuff, you never see them. Ever see him. I see John at least twice a month in the store, usually once for signings and once where he's actually working. I know Torpedo recently posted a picture up on Instagram where him and the manager were just hanging out in the store sorting comics. You know, John just loves comic books. And he's been doing it since before he joined System of a Down, so... All right, so what am I going on here? Wow, I'm going on an hour-long video. I think it's the longest video I've ever done, but this is amazing. So, where's the best place to buy comics? You know, I gotta tell you, the best place to buy comics, hands down, is eBay. Seriously. That's all these, everything except for this one comic that I bought in the store, I picked up on eBay. But, you know, I live in Vegas. I'm a gambling man, so I take a chance on books. But I have a video up on what to do on how to look for good deals on eBay. And I gotta tell you, I score great deals on eBay. It's probably the best place. I know my LCS is probably gonna hate me for saying that, but yeah. All right, so on that note, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. This video has gone on really, oh, you're welcome. It's gone on for a long time, so. All right, guys, thanks everyone for watching. If you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit that little green logo over there. You can do it right now. Just hit that logo over there. Oh, where I'm out of frame. And make sure you hit the bell up there, because I think I'm gonna start doing more live streams. This is awesome. I know I'm gonna live stream every signing I go to now, because that was a huge hit. Everybody loved it. And, you know, like always, guys, thanks and take it easy.